Hello everyone. Today I'm wearing my kimono. You may have seen pictures of my kimono in my anime convention video. And yes, I am wearing a t-shirt underneath it. But I thought, because of the topic of the video, a kimono was fitting to wear about this. You might have heard of this game or other games by this creative, bizarre mind before, and probably most people have seen it thanks to the Happy Video Game Nerd, but I owned a copy of D far before that, though I never got when it was new. But I did have a copy of it before the Happy Video Game Nerd did. Oddly enough, I actually owned D2 far before I owned my original copy of D. And the creator and former CEO of Warp Entertainment has passed away on February 20th. He's gone. He died of a heart condition of some kind, and he passed away at the age of 42, if I remember correctly. And it's really a shame, because while a lot of people in the Western Hemisphere don't really know a whole lot about him, because his games kind of went unappreciated here, the ones that did come here were appreciated by unique individuals. He created D, D2, Enemy Zero. Oh, I'm trying to remember them all. He had a lot of other ones, especially in Japan. A very unique game he did in Japan was called, if I remember correctly, Wheel Sound. And that is a very interesting game, because it was a game solely created for blind people. It's an audio game. To my understanding, it's basically a novel game, but it's all sound-based, so, you know, just no graphics. So it's hearing like a cassette game, but, you know, you make choices and stuff. Though it did have a special version that showed some visuals, but they were mostly still pictures on the Dreamcast, if I remember correctly, and the original was on the Saturn, if I remember properly. Very interesting title. I don't own it. It's actually pretty rare. I've actually tried getting it. It's pretty rare. It's a very collectible item. I'm trying to remember a lot of games he had to do with. And his studio also had a few noteworthy people who worked in it. Especially the well-known and, well, highly appreciated, I'm sure everyone will have heard of Ico. Did you know the original creator of Ico his first career, he came from Warp Studio. It was his first job in games. Very interested in history about him. And he has several other individuals who led to other interesting things. But if I remember correctly, after D2, he left the game industry. He's also a composer in Japan. He's a composer, and he went back to mainly composing until about 2004, I believe, where he decided to return to the game industry. But if I remember correctly, pretty much a title from him has never came to the West ever again. Because they made, I think, one Wii title called Cubes and You, I believe, and mostly cell phone games, which was a shame, to be honest. He had so many bizarre ideas. D2 itself, especially for its time period, was such an interesting mix of ideas. D1 was certainly a fucked up adventure on its own. I like D2 more, in my opinion, but D1 does have a very unique atmosphere to it. And Enemy Zero, that's a much obscure game to get, compared to the D games because it was only available on the Saturn. It's a completely weird idea. You know, shit like this, EA would be like, no, it won't sell. Get the fuck out of here. But, you know, I appreciate, as I always say, I can appreciate somebody trying something new and failing as opposed to somebody trying the same old and failing, you know? Because at least they tried something fresh, and I can appreciate that so much better than just the same old shit. And it's really a shame that somebody who had so many bizarre, unique ideas outside of a box went unappreciated in America. Though he was actually very popular in Japan. D sold like 1 million copies in Japan. I'm not sure about D2. I think it was a little less successful if I remember quickly, but D1 sold 1 million units at least in Japan. It was very popular. In America, though, actually funny, America had a very unique story about it that led to Enemy Zero and D2 being Sega exclusives. Basically, D1 in America had such a limited print, and it was because Sony was basically like, nah, who cares? Just give it like a small print of like 20,000 and focus on other stuff. When it was supposed to have an initial print of, I believe, 100,000 copies, if I remember correctly, and they only did 20,000, and he was incredibly pissed, like really mad. And this led to a lot of different stories about this. But while he never confirmed any of the other stories to be true, it was true indeed that he went to a Sony, you know, show, expo thing showing off, you know, his next game at, and the trailer showed the PlayStation logo showed up at the end of the Enemy Zero, and it morphed into the Sega logo, and he caused such a stir and shit. That was so bold, like ballsy as hell, damn it, you know? Like, especially in Japan, because if you don't understand Japanese culture very much, in Japan, you get kind of looked down upon in Japan if publicly you're expressing yourself. Japan as a society considers that your personal issues and stuff should be kept very privately. So, in Japan, that's kind of ballsy, really, in all its own. Even America would be ballsy, but it's really ballsy in Japan. I can only imagine the outraged CEOs and that. It's like, holy crap, the Sega logo inside! Burn the building! Crucify everything! And he went to basically make all his other games as Warped Entertainment. All Sega exclusives from there on. So, but other stories popped up like, I don't know the character. There was some kind of mascot character they had on the PS1, and supposedly he had, like, one story is he had, like, a big blow-up doll thing of it, and he, like, stomped the living shit out of it, and then there's other stuff, other stories and stuff related to that, but he's never confirmed in it. It's always like, maybe. He was also notorious for not wanting to be interviewed a lot, especially after Warped Entertainment. It wasn't until he recently came back to the entertainment industry in like 2004 or somewhere around there. It might have been 2003. But that he actually did a interview with, I think it was 1UP, maybe? Or maybe it was IGN. I don't remember. Somebody got an interview with him after a long time of being silent. But, yeah, it's really a shame such a mind is gone now. he died at a very young age. I mean, 42 is pretty young. You know, average person usually lives to be at least near 90, you know? I mean, that's very short lifespan. He also had some mental issues, like he wasn't retarded or something. That's not what I'm saying. He had a lot of mental issues of wage and such, and they stressed him out a lot. And if I remember correctly, like he had a lot of them before he got married. A lot of instances he talked about of stress and that related to it. He got married a little before D1, if I remember correctly. And I remember how he said the success of the D1 sales in Japan, he was hoping to get a big old house for that because, you know, he didn't want to live in a little apartment they did at the time with his wife. He went to Tweedledale. And I do wonder about his family because I wasn't aware of him having any children. And, well, I never heard of him getting a divorce or anything, so I wonder how his wife is doing. Obviously, I'm sure she's devastated from her husband being gone. It's really a shame to see somebody in the industry who had such a unique history to be gone. It's really a shame. And some have actually went on to say it's kind of an ironic thing, too. I mean, I don't really want to say that was the case, but some people actually, like I realized it when I read about it, that it's kind of weird they died on February 20th, the day that Sony basically announced the PlayStation 4. It's kind of weird, really. But that's how it rolls. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. And, you know, I have to, like, him walking design and stuff, I have to give them credit for fighting Sony back in those days, too. Well, in Japan, it's not a problem, but, you know, like, it's kind of weird to see him mortified about the American release. I don't really hear a lot of stories like that when it comes to the Japanese people, those games in America. Usually they're just like, don't sell well, okay, bye, walking away. No, he was fucking pissed. In like walking design, because if you don't know anything about what Sony was like, they were just basically like, Americans are stupid, we need big flashy, I'm having a bit of a oof. But basically, you know, they're like, need big flashy 3D and shit. You know, they don't want to see 2D and crap anymore. So it's like, we need 3D, you know. Mega Man 8, go somewhere else. It's like, oh no, not Sega Saturn. No, never mind. Come on, welcome in. Just make sure you have some unique art. But I don't know. I really wish I had more to say, to be honest. It was a very creative mind in that, and it's always a shame to see a studio or company or a small-time publisher go the way of the wind because of the industry right now. But, you know, just to simply die, a mind lost forever. I would check out some of his compositions of music if you can find any. He has lots of music he's done. And check out some of his games if you've never played any of them. I greatly recommend D2 if you have a Dreamcast. It's a very bizarre survival horror game. Why, if you're into like first-person puzzle games, D would be up your alley. Enemy Zero is just absolutely bizarre. Definitely up your alley if you want something weird there. Oh, you know, actually, I just remembered something. I'm trying to remember what it was called, though. It was an NES game that I don't own, but I played it as a childhood because a friend of mine owned it, and I can't remember what it was called. It was a platformer game where you were a chef using a frying pan. And what's interesting is, before he went to fund he worked with another game company that wasn't his. He just worked in a game company before that, and he had to do with this game. And it came to America. It was maybe the first game to come to America that has any association with him. And I can't remember what it was called for the life of me. I really can't remember. It was on the NES, and you can probably look it up on Wikipedia. Something I've really been wanting to get, because I couldn't, I recently got reminded about it, by, what's that guy who does a lot of, 3DO, Philip CDI, no, he does Philip CDI videos. Oh, I can't. Half-Blind Gamer, yes. He did a video about it, and I was like, oh, I remember that game. I could never remember the name of that game, and I can't remember it right now, but, I remember having a lot of fun with that one when I was a kid. My friend Derek owned it. Only a weirdo could truly think of a platformer with food. But then again, Namco published the RPG that had to do with food on the Game Boy, so... All I can say is I hope he rests peace, no fond memories. I know I will always remember D2, and if I ever get Enemy Zero, I always want to try to get Enemy Zero. I always remember you as a unique mind in the game industry. While others might forget you, I will not be so easy to forget you. I can only wish you... man, I don't know, I might be coming with a cold. I can only wish you rest in peace, so... Ooh. I'm awful. But I wish best wishes to your family members, and your relatives. And I wish best to everyone. So, that's a lot of my shared thoughts. And thank you for watching this to the end. And you might notice there's no ads on this video. I don't feel it's respectable to a deceased person to, if I'm going to devote like a big video, you know, like maybe if it was a small footnote, but you know, I don't want to make, I wanted, you know, because he made a lot of unique games I liked, so I didn't want it to be like really a footnote. So out of full respect, obviously, I don't want to put ads and stuff on here, so I'm being very, at least I consider myself being very respectable about the game industry's loss, and obviously, you know, just simply his family's loss and that. So, if you want to leave a comment or make a video response or anything, feel free to. Until next time, hopefully there'll be more positive news and things to the future. Thank you for watching to the end, and, well, may the powers of creativity be with you.